Hello, welcome to another video from the Animal University channel. Let's go for the video. Crab. Crab, any short-tailed member of the crustacean order Decapoda, phylum Arthropoda, especially the brachyurans, infraorder Brachyura, or true crabs, but also other forms such as the anomurans, suborder Anomura, which include the hermit crabs. Decapods occur in all oceans, in fresh water, and on land. About 10,000 species have been described. Unlike those of other decapods, example shrimp, lobster, crayfish, crab's tails are curled under the thorax, or midsection. The carapace, upper body shield, is usually broad. The first pair of legs is modified into chelae, or pincers. Distribution and variety. Most crabs live in the sea. Even the land crabs, which are abundant in tropical countries, usually visit the sea occasionally and pass through their early stages in it. The river crab of southern Europe, the Lenten crab, Potamon fluviatile, is an example of the freshwater crabs abundant in most of the warmer regions of the world. As a rule, crabs breathe by gills, which are lodged in a pair of cavities beneath the sides of the carapace, but in the true land crabs the cavities become enlarged and modified so as to act as lungs for breathing air. Walking or crawling is the usual mode of locomotion, and the familiar sidelong gait in the common shore crab is characteristic of most members of the group. The crabs of the family Portunidae, as well as some others, swim with great dexterity by means of their flattened paddle-shaped legs. Like many other crustaceans, crabs are often omnivorous and act as scavengers, but many are predatory and some are vegetarian. Though no crab is truly parasitic, some live commensally with other animals. One example is the little pea crab, Pinnotheridae, which lives within the shells of mussels and a variety of other mollusks, wormtubes, and echinoderms and shares its host's food. Another example is the coral gull crab, Haplocarcinidae, which irritates the growing tips of certain corals so that they grow to enclose the female in a stony prison. Many of the sluggish spider crabs, Magidae, cover their shells with growing seaweeds, zoophytes, and sponges, which afford them a very effective disguise. The giant crab of Japan, Macrocheira caemphori, and the Tasmanian crab, Pseudocarcinus gigas, are two of the largest known crustaceans. The former may span nearly 4 meters, 12 feet, from tip to tip of its outstretched legs. The Tasmanian crab, which may weigh well over 9 kilograms, 20 pounds, has much shorter, stouter claws. The major one may be 43 centimeters, 17 inches long. The body, or carapace, of a very large specimen may measure 46 centimeters, 18 inches across. At the other extreme are tiny crabs measuring in adulthood scarcely more than a centimeter or 2 in length. Better-known anomuran crabs are the hermit crabs, which live in empty shells discarded by gastropod mollusks. As the crab grows, it must find a larger shell to occupy. If the supply of empty shells of appropriate size is limited, competition for shells among hermit crabs can be severe. In tropical countries, hermit crabs of the family Coenobididae live on land, often at considerable distances from the sea, to which they must return to release their larvae. The large robber, or coconut, crab, another anomuran, of the Indo-Pacific islands, Virgus latro, has given up the habit of carrying a portable dwelling, and the upper surface of its abdomen has become covered by shelly plates. As in most crustaceans, the young of nearly all crabs, when newly hatched from eggs, are very different from the parents. The larval stage, known as the zoea, is a mini-transparent organism with a legless, rounded body, that swims and feeds in the plankton. After casting off its skin several times, the enlarging crab passes into a stage known as the megalopa, in which the body and limbs are more crab-like, but the abdomen is large and not folded up under the thorax. After a further molt, the animal assumes a form very similar to that of the adult. There are a few crabs, especially those living in fresh water, that do not pass through a series of free-living larval stages but instead leave the eggshell as miniature adults. Economic importance. Many crabs are eaten by humans. The most important and valuable are the edible crab of the British and European coasts, Cancer pagurus, and, in North America, the blue crab, Calanectes sapidus, of the Atlantic coast and the Dungeness crab, Cancer magister, of the Pacific coast. In the Indo-Pacific region, the swimming crabs, Scylla and Portunus, related to the American blue crab, are among the most important sources of seafood. Commercially valuable anomurans are the lithidid, literally stone, crabs, of which the so-called king crab, Paralithodes kamschatka, found off Japan and in the Bering Sea and Alaskan waters, is the most important. Some crabs are not true crabs. Crabs come in two varieties, true crabs and fake crabs. Brachyurans, or true crabs, have short abdomens and 4 pairs of long legs that they utilize to move about. Anomurans, often known as false crabs, have larger abdomens and fewer walking legs. Crabs come in around 5,000 species, of which 4,500 are actual crabs, and 500 are fake crabs. Blue crabs, spider crabs, and snow crabs are a few instances of real crabs. Squat lobsters, king crabs, and hermit crabs are a few instances of false crabs. Some crabs, including king crabs, horseshoe crabs, hermit crabs, and porcelain crabs, are not considered true crabs even though they are classified as decapods. Some crabs can survive on land and in water. There are many species of crab that can live on both lands and in water, despite having more physical similarities to prawns and lobsters than any other animal. The fiddler crab is one such example. It can accomplish this by possessing gills and lungs. If they can keep their gills moist, crabs can survive on land. They most often reside close to the coast for this primary reason. Crabs communicate using their claws. Stridulation is the process of making sounds by rubbing specific body parts together, such as when insects rub their legs together. Scientists have long known that crabs communicate by rubbing their legs together, as well as by rubbing unique ridges on their claws and arms together to make noise. A crab's tooth is in its stomach. Here's an incredible crab fact for you. Crabs and lobsters both have teeth in their stomachs. These are utilized to break down their food, but strangely enough, ghost crabs also use them to scare off predators by generating noise. Researchers in oceanography discovered that during hostile confrontations, Atlantic ghost crabs growl using teeth in their stomachs. It's supposedly the first instance of an animal employing stomach noises as a form of communication. Crabs have unique eyes. Dipolar polarization vision, a two-channel configuration in which horizontal and vertical photoreceptor cells are positioned perpendicular to one another, is a vision system used by crabs and other crustaceans. Despite having weak vision, they can discern between colors. Their eyes are situated on their stalks, almost like snails. Large compound eyes with hundreds of microscopic lenses make up crabs' eyes. The skeleton of a crab is on the outside. The shell of a crab is its bones. Crabs display their skeletons on the exterior, just like spiders and insects do. A crab's exoskeleton aids in its survival by giving it a sturdy shell to ward off predators and enhancing its muscular power. With numerous places of muscle attachment, the exoskeleton, which is shared with other arthropods, protects against predators, desiccation, or waterlogging, both important for small organisms. But the exoskeleton also restricts how big arthropods can grow. I hope you enjoyed this video enough and it was informative. Please like the video and subscribe the channel. Introduce us to your friends. Good luck to you all.